Bubbles. So, y'all, I have just finished watching for the past several hours um, a whole series of TikTok videos. Now, I'm probably late, and you probably already know about Risa Tisa. She did about 52 TikTok videos titled "Who the F Did I Marry?" Honey, her story was just riveting. So, in a nutshell, I've been telling y'all, stay off these damn dating apps. Y'all see out here in these YouTube streets how many mentally ill individuals are running around here. So they are in a more exponential form on these dating apps. Straight up sociopaths, psychopaths, narcissistic, pathological liars. And all they do is just go on the app and scroll through and read bios and, picking out things, the victims, and what they say about themselves, and they're zoning in on their prey. And this is what happened to her. On a damn dating app, and she meets this guy named Jerome. She calls him Legion because there are many. Ugh. Honey, pathological liar. It don't even try to understand somebody like Jerome/Legion. Don't even waste your time. You'll never understand it. You cannot make sense out of insanity. And like I said, the story is riveting. And look, she says, "Who the fuck did I marry?" I say, "What the fuck did she marry?" What is that? That's a thing. This Legion individual. That's not human. That's a thing. And I'm reminded, in case you don't know, again, oh Jesus, Legion, you gotta watch the videos for yourself. But suffice it to say that he's just a damn liar. I mean, to the extreme. He's supposed to be a VP of some company. He got bank accounts here, bank accounts offshore, and he's taking her around. We're going to buy a house, and they looking at all these houses, and he wants to buy a $700,000 house in cash, and he's showing her, you know, how much money he has in his Chase account, which were just screenshots that he Googled that didn't belong to him. So much crap. But I'm reminded, I can't remember this guy's name, but this is back in like 2002, 2003. And I believe it took place in Utah. I want to say Utah. There was this married couple, and the husband, had been going to med school for the past 5 years, and the wife has a job, and great, happy couple, and she's pregnant, and he's finishing up med school, and he landed a residency, I think, in North Carolina at a hospital. So she has a going away party. Her co-workers gave her a going away party at her job and got the apartment all packed up, boxes everywhere, and she disappears the day they're supposed to move. Long story short, he murdered her, and she was pregnant. Why did he murder her? Because he was a pathological liar. He was never in medical school. All those years, he leaving the home on time, going to class. Whatever reason graduation day came, whatever excuse he came up with why he wasn't going or she shouldn't come, whatever the case was, he killed her because his back was against the wall. He'd rather have her dead than to find out that he had been lying to her for the past 5 years. There was no residency at a hospital that her co-workers gave through her going away party for, and that she's packing up her apartment to move into someplace close to this hospital in another state. All a figment of his imagination that he lied about. Delusional. And this is what this Legion guy reminds me of. And like Risa Tisa said, it's the extent he would go to, excuse me, to lie. I mean, what does that? Certainly not a human. And she's right to name him Legion. That is the most demonic shit. Well, it ain't the most demonic shit, but it's very, very demonic. But Legion reminds me of this couple. I think they were from Utah again. For 5 years, he's going to class in medical school. He graduates. Hey, baby, I landed a residency at a hospital in North Carolina. Pack your shit, girl. We moving on up. He was even on the news while they were searching for her, crying. And no, he killed her. She never knew that he had been lying to her for the past 5 years. We all know she didn't find out because he killed her before she could. He just couldn't face the fact that the jig was going to be up, and he just couldn't find a way excuse me, for her to look at him or for him to look at her should she find out the truth. So the moral of this story is stay off of these dating apps. Well, could you meet a Legion at a friend's birthday party, or at a function, or a co-worker? Well, you shouldn't date your co-workers. That's a whole nother video. It's possible. It's possible. You can, but I think you have more of a chance meeting a demon like this off of these social media dating apps. And don't get me wrong, I'm sure there are some great guys on these dating apps, but they're so far and few in between. They're just snuffed out because there's more predators, a whole wealth of predators on these dating apps than there are decent guys. It's the truth. Well, you know what? Let me say it's my opinion. I mean, I have too many stories from people I really know. I know of two cases, two females. One was gang raped for meeting a guy off of a dating app. And another one recently from last year was raped. Met this guy, went on a date. She came over before she went on this date. First time she's meeting this guy from a dating app. Next thing we know, the next day, she calling telling us she was raped. They go out to dinner, and then they was going to a movie. They get in the parking lot of the movie theater. He straight out pulls out a knife and rapes her. And then when he's done, he throws $50 on top of her and leaves. Well, why would he throw $50? Because if she would report it, he'd say she was a hoe and he paid her. But she went to the hospital, got a rape test kit, and reported it. And it took several months, but they finally got him, and she wasn't the first one he did it to. These dating apps, the internet is crawling with predators. I'm so glad I'm not a young woman in this generation. You just don't know. I am so glad. Because you just got shit to choose from. Makes no sense. But good for Risa Tisa. This happened through for a year between 2020 and 2021. It is now 2024, and she's talking about her experience. I know she is traumatized. That's a lot to deal with. And it makes you, or it should make you, do some soul searching and, try to find out why you were so vulnerable that you would attract such an individual. But I think, a lot of women, again, because it's been ingrained in us ever since we were little girls, watching movies like Sleeping Beauty and Cinderella and all of that. And you just grow up with this fairy tale. You're going to get married and have children, and, that is the life. No, it's not. Being single is a beautiful thing. At least it is for me. Being single and having your own shit. You want a house? Go buy your own damn house. You want some kids? Go on and have your kids. But you don't have to be married. Marriage is for the damn birds. Man, you have got to learn how to be alone. Alone. Not lonely. There's a difference between being alone and lonely. There's nothing wrong with being alone. You should love being alone. Alone with you. You should never be afraid to be alone. Oh, I'm afraid I'll grow up and I'll get married and I'll be alone. Well, if you're afraid to be alone with you, what makes you think somebody else ain't going to be afraid to be alone with you? Now, I don't mean to be totally against a marriage. And honestly, I'm not. For me personally, I don't need it. But There are some people that's what they would like to do. I'm not knocking you for it. But before you get married, I think you ought to get to know and fall in love with yourself first. I just think that's an important thing to do. But hey, what do I know? Love who you are. Enjoy being with you. Take yourself out on a date. What do I mean by that? Shit. Why are you staying home on a Saturday night because you don't have no one to take you out on a date? Go see a movie by yourself. Go have dinner by yourself. You never know who you might meet. But I prefer to meet someone face to face initially because you can 90.9.999% of the time you can see crazy. The camera hides a lot of stuff. You zoom in and FaceTiming and all that. You can't pick up everything on the camera. And sometimes you just got to take your time when you meet somebody. One of the things that narcissists do when they meet you, they just have this uncanny sense of um immediately becoming enmeshed with you. Like, y'all just have the same views and see things the same way and share the same ideals. And, that they just have a great way of syncing with you and making you feel as though the two of you are soulmates. And like she said, it wasn't too long, and I'm talking about a matter of a couple of weeks after they got married, that things changed with him. Almost like he ain't the same person other than his lying ass. You know, it's just so much to it. And you just got to be really, 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 really careful. And she said, I'm a very intelligent woman. And I'm just like, how did I get myself into it? Well, I can tell you how. One, it sounds like you were in desperation mode for marriage. And you pretty much said so. You thought the Lord was taking too long and answering your prayer. And then things were sour, and, you know, being concerned what family members or friends would say, that, you met this guy, married him real quick, and now it ain't working out real quick. Ladies, you make your choices and your decisions. And the last thing you want to do is be concerned about what other people think. Too many women stay in situations far too long because they want to prove everybody else wrong. Girl, if you get married and you find out shortly after that it was a mistake, correct the mistake and fuck what everybody else thinks. They ain't paying your bills. They ain't living your life. Take the trash out and keep it moving. It's really that simple. And if anybody asks, your answer, you should have a stock answer. It just didn't work out. And change the subject. So they need to know. They need to know the obvious. It just didn't work out. And then after you have such an experience, please, you cannot let Legion have such power over you that you're afraid to trust somebody else. Everybody ain't Legion. And you need to get Legion out of your mind and your heart when dealing with someone else. Your guard doesn't have to be all the way up, but it just should be present. I'll say that. You can't help but to have your guard present. It just doesn't need to be all the way up. You're wiser now. You just keep your eyes open. That's all. Just keep your eyes open. But don't let what your experience with Legion get in the way of Mr. Right. Because now Mr. Right comes along and you can't even see how right he is because you still got Legion on the brain, Legion in the spirit. You got to kick Legion all the way out your life. You got him out your house physically. You gave him back his sorry hand in marriage. And now you got to get him out your spirit and your mind when it comes to meeting someone else. I know, easier said than done. That old cliche. But it's just something you can work on. That's all. Something you just need to practice. Because whatever we practice, we get good at. Right? Right. Anyway, that's my video for today. And that is one hell of an experience. I hope you are no longer on any more dating apps. I heard Risa Tisa say, if she knew you before Jerome, she trusts you explicitly. Anybody she meet after Jerome, uh, I clearly get how you feel that way and why. But you're wrong. Because of Legion, you can completely miss out on a wonderful thing in terms of a relationship. You really could. And you going to let Legion still have that power over you. Uh-uh. I trust people until I see that I can't trust them. I take people, what they tell me, and at their word until I see I can't do it. And it ain't going to take me too long to see it. I meet somebody tell me they got money in an account, an offshore account and all that. I'm going to believe them. Lies run sprints, but the truth runs marathons. Everything in darkness is going to come to light. You don't necessarily have to pull out a magnifying glass and go looking for the truth. Truth will come to you. It'll reveal itself. Anyway, yeah, it's time for me to end this video because, I got things to do. But that was one hell of a story, and a situation, and ooh wee, child, oof. Anyway, my prayer for Risa Tisa before I really go is that she will completely let go of Legion. She might say, I've been letting him go. I divorced him and everything. And he don't, we don't talk no more. I don't want him in my life. He's still in your life. Maybe not physically. But when you can say that anybody you met before him, you trust them, anybody after, no, he's still in your life. You ain't kicked him out all the way. Everybody ain't Legion. Everybody ain't Legion. Bigger than all of that, he ain't even cute. Peace.